That's what I was going about. It was 44 a few years ago. No. You come back, what, camel train?
Virtually.
Yeah, well, that's really good.
You pretty defined as a team for 3 quarters. What do you think it then burst on you?
Well, so I said to the players before the game, if we win, we'll tick it. If we lose, I'll make an excuse for the media. All right? But I don't have to make an excuse because I thought that it was a bit... I mean, the scoreline at 3/4 time, you got two sides that went reasonably defensive at one another, didn't give any quarter whatsoever. So we got an 8-6 and 8-5 game. I'm not here to talk about the Crows, but it was almost predictable that 6 of our players that have been out of action coming back were never going to impact the last half. And it was most important that they actually got running around minutes. So in this case, most of them played approximately the minutes that we wanted them to play, but knowing full well that under pressure they were always going to be head down, cramped, pretty much just let's get the game over so I can get back in the ice bars and ready for next game, which took place. And and all those 6 were coming for their first games were Simpson, Thomas, Scotland, Jamieson, Garlett, Cruiser. They all got through. That was the main thing.
What did you think of Dale's game? First game for a while.
Oh, I thought he was good. Thought he gave us a bit. Predictably, like the other boys who played, if we're going to talk about just one, Jamieson and these other blokes, Garlett. Garlett's had 1 possession in the last quarter, predictably. Jamison's had 4. I suppose the ball was down there a fair bit. Scotland's had 2 or 3. Who did I say? Simpson had 3 or 4. Thomas had 2. It was predictable. It was, as I say, the most important thing was that they got through.
But these games, Mick, particularly the challenge now that we don't have the cup as well, become even less relevant about the result rather than the individual?
No, I think that that's downplaying the significance of NAB Challenge and NAB Cup. I've enjoyed both sides because it's a good preparation for the main season.
You're talking about the guys that got through. What about Chris Yarran?
No, he's a bit sore, but he'll be okay.
And Gibbs as well, just same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasing things about that game, the way you set up as a team to stop Adelaide getting easy ball out of defence at
well,
times.
It's not so much an Adelaide thing. We really didn't, and I'm a great focuser on it.
I'm asking about Carlton set up and
yeah, what I'm saying is I'm a great focuser of the opposition, but this is one game where I've just said, it's not that Adelaide are irrelevant whatsoever. It's in fact we've drawn 3 sides that are very, very important to our preparation. One was North Melbourne, Adelaide, and now we play the Western Bulldogs. We couldn't possibly get 3 better sides leading into our season to test certain areas of our game, and they like North Melbourne last week have all tested certain areas of our game, and I thought we were better this week than what we were last week, and we expect to be better next week in some of our mechanisms.
In terms of a measure of where this competition is at, how tight do you reckon it is in that group that's challenging from 4th, say, to anything outside the top?
Well, Michael Angelo, you're going to get seduced by pre-season form, and that's because we've got 26 players, full-time, admittedly, 2 subs that we're able to sub back on and sub off, and I still don't know the rules, and I still don't know exactly what penalty they would have got. In fact, I gave Shane a heart attack when I said, listen, forget it, don't let us going to keep doing it, until he informed me that those players couldn't come back on, so that changed my mind in a hurry. So, question?
I'm just wondering how tight this competition is going to be this year.
Well, I think you suspect it's going to be tight. You suspect that sides outside the 8 of last year two in particular, you've got no idea how far they're going to go, and that's, of course, is Greater Western Sydney and Gold Coast, because Gold Coast is now in, is this their 4th year coming in? And Greater Western Sydney, this is their 3rd year. Or is it their third? Yeah, 3rd year. And they've recruited senior players into their squad, so it may tighten right up from everywhere, not just when you think that sides who are just outside may make a play for it, because sides in the 8, you know, we used to say that one of the certainties in life is that the 8 doesn't stay the same. I'm not 100% sure. You know, it's going to be difficult to say who could fall out and who could come in.
The 6 players that you got through tonight, Mick, how do you now manage them against the Western Bulldogs?
Well, we don't play for a week and a half, so it's not that we had a lot to do with the planning of it, but it worked out very well for us.
Given what you were looking for from individuals and from the team, what impressed you, or who impressed you tonight?
Well, I couldn't say I was overly impressed in any. Like to try to pick our best player was a long way short of being our best player, whoever it was. He's not the best player, because we didn't have a best player, and that's a bit of a concern. But as I say, it's the 2nd game of the year, and it's not even round. You know, we're not into round 1, so. I think it's the most important thing today was whether we got a few defensive things right. And by and large, we took some pretty significant steps there from last year. Can it hold up? Well, we're going to put our best 22 on the ground and see whether it can, not necessarily on the ground, but 22 players when we pick our first round and see whether it does hold up.
Can I ask you where you think the whole free agency thing is in AFL
I've
footy?
told you know where I think free agency is. But when it's in, you join in. It's not a matter of now getting. It's like the rotations. So, you know what my thoughts were? It should be unlimited. Once they start to say the hints, then you just say, right, it looks like it's going to be whatever it is. Let's do it. It'll be a 2-tier system. You won't get too many bottom sides saying attracting, you know, free agent players who can make a massive difference. But you're going to always get the top players, the top sides, who are going to be able to attract free agents from the bottom sides. And it's no one left in the competition as coaching VFL. I did. I was in a free agent system long enough to know that when I was coaching the Bulldogs, Footscray, that we had to scrounge and scrape. And you talk about Moneyball, we were Moneyball. You know, the Duperoozles and Callett and Foster and all these sort of, and Lally Bamble, they all fell out, and we picked them up. And we ran with them and gave us some good contests and for a number of years, but we couldn't attract a big name player, but we lost players, and it'll just continue. You know, Franklin wasn't going to hang around playing in the bottom side until they come good, was he? And it's the same with other players.
How do you feel about when there's sales pitches to Bryce Gibbs' management because he's a free agent?
Oh no, that's the game. As I say, you've got to. It's like bets. We didn't want to lose bets. You know, I dare say Collingwood didn't want to lose Thomas, and I dare say Hawthorn didn't want to lose Franklin. Do you reckon St Kilda wanted to lose Goddard? I doubt it. I don't know, but that's the vulnerability of the system at the moment. Is that when there's a big gap in their allowance and they're able to fill it, they'll top up with a good player, and sometimes clubs can't match it, so you lose the player.
Do you have a feel on Gibbs at the moment?
Unfortunately for you, I have a very good feel. Or
maybe
fortunate for you.
I'm not signing the cheques.
No, I've got a good feel.
Thanks, guys.
Got any lads?